What's going on, guys? It's Cynical and welcome back to another Kingdom Hearts 3 discussion video. Today for you guys we're going to be talking about the newly revealed original world for Kingdom Hearts 3, Scala Ad Caelum. This was shown off in the most recent Final Battle trailer, and I gotta say, this footage really took me by surprise. It was also fairly jaw-dropping to me as well, mainly because this location looks absolutely beautiful. Radiant Garden has always been one of my more so favoured original worlds for the Kingdom Hearts series, along with Destiny Islands, but I have a feeling that Scala Ad Caelum right here will definitely be in my top 3 for sure. It looks absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, no, seeing this really took me by surprise because Square Enix decided to do the sneaky of showing us a fair amount of footage, ending that trailer with the whole end logo sequence, and then playing even more footage. Yeah, I see you, Square. Very sneaky, but I have a lot of thoughts and opinions towards this new original location for the game, so I thought I would share them with you guys in today's video. So, starting off first and foremostly, this wouldn't actually be the very first time we've heard about Scala Ad Caelum, although back when we did hear about it, we didn't know that this is what the world's name was called. Rather, back then, it was actually called something different, that being Cable Town. Yes, Scala Ad Caelum is the infamous Cable Town that was shown off exclusively for the attendees of the Kingdom Hearts 2.5 launch event back in 2014. During that event, there was a new Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer shown off, once again, only exclusively to the people who actually physically went to the event itself. And during this trailer that was shown to the attendees, they saw a bunch of different things, but most interestingly enough, they saw a brand new world, which was known as Cable Town. Descriptions came out of it being very similar to that of the Land of Departure, with having sort of similar architecture. It was described as being a massive city built on top of 3 different hills with a lot of different windmills and buildings. And now that we've finally seen Scala Ad Caelum, matching up the descriptions of Cable Town to what we've finally now seen, yeah, it's pretty crazy how accurate the memories of the fans were after they ended up seeing that trailer and reposted the descriptions of what they ended up seeing at the launch event onto the internet. I thought I'd actually bring up KH Insider's description of the exclusive trailer from 2014, describing the Cable Town world. So this is KH Insider's description. We then saw concept art of a grand city built on 3 hills, with the one in the center being slightly taller, which, as we can see right here, yes, the center one is slightly taller. The city seems to be built in tiers leading up to the top, and a tower that was curiously almost identical in shape to that of the Daybreak Town Tower topped the center hill, which you have to admit, when you look towards the main tower of Daybreak Town and then you compare it to the main tower of Scala Ad Caelum, yeah, there's some pretty uncanny similarities. Even though we can't see the tower right here in its entirety, from the sort of bottom portion of the tower, it does seem quite similar to that of the tower found in Daybreak Town. Chains connected the top corners of the center tower to the 2 surrounding hills, a motif that we have seen replicated in the structure of the castle in the Land of Departure. The concept art had the letters CT beneath the center tower, CT most likely standing for that of Cable Town. I would say it's very likely that back in 2014, Tetsuya Nomura and the team most likely didn't have a finalized name for this world, and most likely referred to it as Cable Town, as of course the city or town is literally all connected and held together by massive cables. The camera zoomed into the tower and made the transition into 3D. We saw just how vast and condensed the city was. We entered the tower into a library/office and immediately noticed Master Ericus' symbol plastered on the overhead arc, and the key symbol written on a chalkboard in the room. An upper loft could be seen in the study that led to a row of books. The room was bathed in such soft and glowing light as wind flowed gently in from the windows, ruffling the curtains and passing over Sora's hair and clothes. Sora began to approach the window, and his shadow began to spread across the checkered tile floor. The camera zoomed into a cluster of chess pieces topped with various symbols seen throughout the series, such as the heart and crown. Now, this scene specifically, where it zooms into the castle of Scala Ad Caelum and then into a library section, was actually recreated by that of Zephyr back in 2014, where you can actually see a visual representation of the scene that the attendees were seeing. But this is the art interpretation right here, with Sora standing inside the study. Obviously, back then when they were seeing the footage, Sora was in his Kingdom Hearts 2 attire, most likely because at that stage Tetsuya Nomura and the team hadn't finalized Sora's Kingdom Hearts 3 outfit. Keeping in mind that everything they saw in that trailer was prototype, but seems to be that what they were seeing was definitely a concept that they have now put into the game, being that of Scala Ad Caelum. But yeah, Sora is standing in the study. We can see the chess pieces on the windowsill with the curtains blowing inwards from the wind. We can also see the chalkboard with the key symbol. Now, back when this art interpretation came out, a lot of us were saying that this room has to be the exact same room that young Ericus as well as young Master Xehanort are seen sitting in the E3 2015 trailer, where they're playing their game of chess, which I'm still certain that that is the case. In the E3 2015 trailer, although we don't get to see many angles of the room itself, I think it is clear to see that the room is actually a study of sorts, where we can, in some of the scenes, see a few books lying around. And just behind young Xehanort in this shot right here, we can also see a chalkboard. I do believe that the Land of Departure is either Scala Ad Caelum, because as we know, the Land of Departure has the ability to completely transform itself into a completely different world, as we saw at the end of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, with Aqua using the Master's Defend Keyblade, the Keyblade that Master Ericus was once equipped with. She sealed away and transformed the Land of Departure into Castle Oblivion, so that anyone in the future who would discover the world would inevitably become lost. And as Master Ericus explains in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, this is an ability that their ancestors once used to use on the world. So this would suggest to us that with the Land of Departure transforming from the Land of Departure into that of Castle Oblivion, this wouldn't exactly be the very first time that the Land of Departure has transformed into a completely different world. I want to say that Scala Ad Caelum is most likely the original form of the Land of Departure, and the Land of Departure is the outcome of Scala Ad Caelum being locked away at some certain point. Now, it's either that or Scala Ad Caelum has some sort of strong connection to that of the Land of Departure. However, though, I think it's fairly obvious that the worlds in which young Ericus and young Xehanort are in whilst playing the game of chess when they're youngsters is most likely in the castle section of Scala Ad Caelum. And it seems to be that we make our way into this very same area where we can see young Master Xehanort and young Ericus as Sora in Kingdom Hearts 3 when we finally make our way to the world. But from the descriptions, it seems to be that there will be a certain point where, yes, we go into the castle itself, and from the seams of things, I want to say that this world is going to be fairly explorable. I'm hoping it's not just cut up into sort of smaller sections, and that Scala Ad Caelum is a fully explorable world, one that you can go back and forward to. I also want to say that this world is most likely going to act as Kingdom Hearts 3's final world, and I think what we're seeing right here is, yes, definitely Tetsuya Nomura's favorite world of all time. We've been talking about this a little bit over the past sort of 3 months, so we're seeing that cloud world from the TGS trailer. A lot of us were assuming that, okay, this is either like Kingdom Hearts of some form, or perhaps maybe Van's Heart, but at the same time, this could also likely be the very final stage of the game. And if it is, this is likely to be the very location that Nomura has been referring to towards being his absolutely all-time favorite. However, though, I don't think it's the Cloud World that's going to be the final location for Kingdom Hearts 3, and I don't think it's going to be the Keyblade Graveyard either. Scala Ad Caelum is clearly going to be the final world of the game. We can see Xehanort with his 12 selves, and he even mentions in this scene that Scala Ad Caelum is going to be perfect, as it is going to be a world where him and his 12 other selves can be one. So this is obviously after everything that happens in the Keyblade Graveyard. Also, it seems to be that Sora is alone in this world, although we cannot confirm this. He is seen simply by himself in that very final scene. And as we've seen recently, there is a point in time in the Keyblade Graveyard where it seems to be that Sora ends up losing everyone. Not really in the sense of death, well, I at least hope not, but more so being separated from the entire group. We finally got to see the Sora screaming scene in action within the final battle trailer, and I think when Sora is screaming, he can't go on and he can't do this by himself without the help of his friends. I think he's screaming that to Riku when Riku is fending off that massive wave of Heartless. Riku says, "Sora, you don't believe that. I know you don't." So this could be a direct response towards Sora's babying towards that he can't go on without the strength of his friends and that he can't do this by himself. So yeah, I would say that Scala Ad Caelum Caelum is definitely Kingdom Hearts 3's final world, and I like the fact that we have a fairly pretty looking final world for the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, although I'm sure that the final sequence or battle is going to be something pretty damn dark and quite demonic. The actual final environment space is very pretty. And it's interesting when you compare Kingdom Hearts 3's final space to that of something like Kingdom Hearts 2's with the world that never was, or of course Kingdom Hearts 1 with the end of the world, or more so the realm of darkness. The end points for most of the Kingdom Hearts games have been dark location, but it doesn't seem like that's the case with Kingdom Hearts 3 because, oh my god, Scala Ad Caelum is absolutely gorgeous. Now, the name itself is quite interesting. Scala Ad Caelum is actually Latin, and in English translation that translates to that of either bridge to heaven or ladder to heaven. Now, if the Latin meaning has anything to do with the world itself, I personally believe that Scala Ad Caelum is acting as the, well, ladder to that of heaven, and heaven being Kingdom Hearts. I think it's totally possible that Scala Ad Caelum could be acting as some form of final entry point before that of Kingdom Hearts, and that this is why Xehanort and his 12 other selves need to become one in this world in order to directly access Kingdom Hearts. Just a theory of my own, but with the Latin meaning that of ladder to heaven, and this seemingly taking place after that of the events of what happens at the Keyblade Graveyard with the 7 Guardians of Light and 13 Seekers of Darkness. Yeah, I feel like this is an entry point of some sorts into Kingdom Hearts itself. But what if Scala Ad Caelum is not actually some form of stairway or entry point into that of Kingdom Hearts, but rather is evidence that Xehanort actually succeeded in claiming Kingdom Hearts for his own? One thing that we know that Xehanort has been wanting to do with Kingdom Hearts is to use it to create his very own world, one that is perfectly balanced between both light and darkness, a perfect equilibrium of both. Even if Scala Ad Caelum does have some form of connection to that of the Land of Departure, or is of course the Land of Departure's original form, we do know that the Land of Departure is too also a world that exists in a perfect equilibrium of both light and darkness. If Xehanort is successful in the Keyblade Graveyard with claiming Kingdom Hearts for his own, and we do get to see a very questionable scene at the start of the final battle trailer with a clearly corrupted Kingdom Hearts and Xehanort hovering in front of it, is it possible that Xehanort uses Kingdom Hearts in order to create Scala Ad Caelum, or to bring it back into existence and transform the Land of Departure back into that of its original form? Again, on the contrary, that the Land of Departure does have some kind of connection to that of Scala Ad Caelum. And also, talking about the 12 other selves of Xehanort, yeah, these robes, I don't know what they are. They kind of look like Keyblade armor of some sorts, but they're super badass looking. These are obviously all 12 Seekers of Darkness. Clearly something happens, though, in the Keyblade Graveyard, in which I'm really excited to see how we get from the Keyblade Graveyard, what happens during that moment, to then getting thrown into Scala Ad Caelum. How exactly do we get to this world? I thought the idea was to take down the Seekers of Darkness at the Keyblade Graveyard, but clearly none of that happens, as all 12 of them are here with fresh new robes. Maybe young Xehanort does some crazy time-bending, back-in-time, time-travel BS, and even though we check and slap them all in the Keyblade Graveyard, he, well, does the same thing he was doing in Dream Drop Distance and brings them all back into existence. Please don't let that be the case. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how everything unfolds. But guys, that is everything to do with Scala Ad Caelum. I am absolutely ecstatic for this world. Even though we haven't seen any gameplay of this location itself, which I'm pretty sure we probably won't before the release of the game, this is probably the world I'm most looking forward to, because it looks absolutely beautiful. Again, I'm really hoping that this world is pretty lengthy, quite expansive, and not just very short segments. But in the comment section down below, guys, please do let me know your thoughts and opinions towards this. However, guys, I'm Cynical, hopefully you're having a fantastic day, and until next time, guys, I'll catch you later. Peace.
Hit them on the page, you'll be coming through stain. Go dead my mouth when you suckers be bluffing. Milk crank, gaming up your bitch though. Catch me in the back playing Super Nintendo.